They let me out. I didn't even know I got released. So what's up, y'all? It's been a minute. Honestly, I've kind of been off the radar everywhere. It's been a real interesting 2 weeks. And in these past 2 weeks, a lot has happened. And I like to gather my thoughts when things are getting crazy. And I like to make sure that when I speak, I'm speaking from my heart. Not my pain, not my ego. At least that's what I try to do now. And the truth is, it's just been real heartbreaking being an American of color. I don't know. There's so many conflicting, crazy things just happening right now, and all of these shootings and all of these cops, and the law, and it's just weird. It's just weird to know that every day something crazy is popping off. Like, it's been nuts. We thought 2020 was bad. Apparently, that was just the warm-up. Which is why I don't do the whole, oh yeah, next year is going to be better. I stopped doing that the year my son was murdered. Like, don't ever get comfortable in this life thinking that all you got to do is make it through this year and everything is going to be great. Because that ain't true. But I just posted a couple of videos of the late and great Earl Simmons. I mean, of course I knew X throughout the years. I mean, there's no way you can do as much work as I did or he did and not know each other or bump into each other after all these years with all the circles. I will never claim that we were the best of friends. I will never claim that we had a super close relationship. It was a casual associate kind of deal, you know. But I did know his character. I was around him enough to be able to speak on some of the awesome things that I've witnessed him do. And I've seen some of the awful things that he did. And you know, he was just a human being. I think what I love most about Earl Simmons was how real he was. You know, even in his fear, he was real in that. Even in his paranoia, he was real in that. He was one of the realest people you could have ever met. Now, we had close ties and association. Someone else that I know used to managed him through a very rough time in life. I still haven't even spoken to that person just to, you know, see how they're doing with it, because I don't know. I don't know what to say. You know, when you start hearing people calling people a drug addict and saying that they overdosed, and then there's, you know, thumbnail after thumbnail, feed after feed, DMX is on life support, DMX of an overdose. Like, y'all didn't even hear what the doctor said before that narrative started getting pushed out there. He was always candid and honest about any issues that he might have had with addiction. He never lied about that, ever, not never. He always kept it a bean. Whatever he was on, and that was so respected. And in that way, he reminded me of Malik. Malik was the same way. Whatever he was on, he was on. He didn't make no excuses for it. He didn't lie about it. It was what he was on. It was what he was dealing with. It was a part of his journey. And Earl was the exact same way. Good morning. So the second that I started hearing overdose, the first thing that came to my mind, I had put up footage of it around Christmas time, and I think I'm gonna snatch it and edit it and pull it up, of that sermon that Earl did at Kanye's Sunday service. And I'm sitting there listening to bro spit scripture and just talking about how it applies not just to him, but to all of us. And, you know, just talking about believing in the faith in God. And that's what he did. You know what I mean? That's where he was in his life. He was very cognizant of his relationship with the Creator. He was very cognitive and competent about what he was and what he was meant to do with everything. Even listening to him talk about, you know, his last project on the Wendy Williams show, about all of the collabs he did with people that, right, he looked healthy, he looked clean, he looked good. You know, but that brother, man, he showed me power, what it is to overcome. This man overcame everything. Like, no matter how much stuff kept coming for him, he would just come back for it harder. Hello. Of course he's gonna be missed. You know, how can't you miss that? How can't you miss all that energy? Like those 2 clips that I just posted before I went live. You know, Earl, that was just him. I remember years ago when I was still coming down to New Orleans and performing a little more on the regular side. He had just done a show right before I got to town. The whole town was in an uproar. All of New Orleans was in an uproar. I mean, this was like not long after the Katrina time, and a lot of us were going down there to do shows just to generate revenue from tourism so the city could rebuild. And, you know, X came down there and started talking about the conspiracies. They did this to you people. It wasn't a storm. They blew y'all up, and if I was y'all, I would tear this whole city apart. I would tell you something right now. They started tearing up that arena and went out and tore up the streets. Like, he got people so angry about their situation. They wasn't even that mad until they got to the show where Earl was like, if I was y'all, I would tear this place apart. What they done. And you know, Earl got in trouble. They tried to say that he incited a riot. But once again, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories and all of that stuff. I want to try to keep it as close to reality as I can, especially when it comes to Brother Earl. He was a preacher at heart. He was a leader. He was a caretaker. You know what I mean? Like, if he banged with you, if he said, I'm taking you under my wing, that's what he did. You know, if you go back and you listen to some of the interviews when Eve talks about Earl, you know, just the way he embraced her and he took her under his wing. You know, he knew that she was around a bunch of straight up mad dogs, and he made sure she felt safe. That was the kind of person that he was. And I'm just like, do people think about his children? You know, are people thinking about any of that when they start just instantly calling someone a drug addict and say they died from an overdose? When I heard overdose, I'm not going to lie, the first thing that came to my mind was, Earl got a lot of information. Maybe somebody gave him a hot shot. I ain't even going to lie. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, he back in step with the Creator. He's speaking that word. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he got some stuff on his heart. Maybe he got some stuff on his heart that don't nobody want to know. And when I heard overdose, that's the first thing I thought to myself. I was like, because there's no way. There's no way. He was enjoying being a new father too much to just turn around and give it all up. He just did a movie. Like, he had new music. He was speaking. Man, I honestly think if he hadn't made it past this point in life, he probably would have became one of our biggest and greatest motivational speakers for the future, because he knew how to motivate people. He knew how to get the battery in people back. You know, so I was like, yeah, no, I just don't see him dying of that one too. All his songs, bangers, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. But I actually, I saw something It came from a confidential source that I cannot speak on. It is not my place to speak on it. But I've seen receipts. I've seen actual receipts. It was not a drug overdose that killed Earl Simmons. It was not. I can say that definitively for a fact. Earl Simmons' demise had absolutely nothing to do with drugs. I'm not going to say, I cannot speak on how I saw this information or how I got this information. But what I can say, they don't want to say the C word. They don't want to say the C word, and they don't want to say the V word, and they don't want to say Earl Simmons. That's what I can tell you. I can't tell nobody what to do when it comes to guarding and protecting your life regarding coronavirus, COVID-19. Thank you, my dear. They chrome. I like the chrome. I think I want to keep banging with chrome for a little while. It does something for you. But you know, how we choose to protect ourselves and guard our lives, it is our right. It is our constitutional right to do what we feel is best for ourselves. So you ain't never going to hear me tell nobody you got to get the vaccine. You're never going to hear me tell somebody not to get the vaccine. I'm not going. It's an app. These ain't even real glasses, see? It's the filter on live. I just kind of like this one because I was like, yeah, let me try it out. I'm not going to tell anybody anything. It's not my place to. What I am going to say is, do your research. Pay attention to what's going on. Because there's absolutely no way they could have tested all of these vaccines. There hasn't been enough time to see what the long-term effects or what the potential effects. What I can say is now I can say for a fact that I know 5 people that have gotten the vaccine, had a negative reaction, and then their lives were put in jeopardy, whether or not they lost their lives or they ended up having a stroke. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think. But what I can say is coronavirus is going to get the best of us. It's going to get the best of us. Oh, yes. Hold on a second. Going to get the best of us. A friend of mine, I'm tapping him in. I'm waiting to see where he's going to be. Hey, Cheek.
What's up, baby?
How are you? This
I'm
is
blessed.
so good. You're hitting me up now and you're in full work regalia.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I just got up here to speak to, the folks because I've kind of been MIA and people have wanted to know if I had anything to say about DMX. And I didn't want to speak until more facts came, but some information came to me and I saw some things, official paperwork that stated what killed Earl Simmons.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't a drug overdose.
Wow.
What I will say, and all I can say, is that he got the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
He tested positive for coronavirus, for COVID. And it was stated that he had passed away from the effects of what happened to him in the hospital.
Wow. So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that they're blaming it on drug overdose?
Well, I don't understand what is the purpose if someone actually allegedly died from COVID-19 or from a reaction to the vaccine. Why instantly throw drug addiction on it? Why would you go back to one of his demons and throw that on it and make that be the narrative, even though the hospital records
allegedly are now saying very different.
Well, I do know in certain situations now,
Mm-hmm.
with people expiring due to coronavirus, there's a financial attachment to that in certain cases. So you can have your final request handled financially by the government in certain situations if it's
Huh.
proven that you passed via coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's part of it.
I have no
I can't
idea.
speak anything to that. But
But
that's crazy.
allegedly, the doctors that handled him didn't work at the hospital, and none of the hospital staff had ever seen them before.
What?
Alle- Yeah.
So it's an outside physician being brought in, or was he?
Outside out physicians that did not work at that hospital, allegedly physicians that did not work at that hospital came to that hospital to work on him and then left as soon as he expired, and no one knew them. And I'm
That,
talking about on the staff
that
at the
doesn't
hospital.
that
No one
doesn't
knew them.
that doesn't make sense to me because if any physician comes into the hospital where I work, they have to be signed off. There needs to be some accountability. Which you have
Well,
what's called an attending. An attending physician is
exactly.
handling that
He
case.
has to give permission.
Yes. Yes.
So why is it not on the books at the hospital where DMX expired?
Anything else is unlawful. And that's just according to the medical community. Anything else is unlawful.
Which, as we see, you would be familiar with in your scrubs and in your cap. Um, I'm. This is kind of. I don't know whether or not I should be scared, outraged, pissed off, or just what the fuck. Like honestly, I don't know how to feel about this information.
Mm,
And once again, I cannot share who the confidential information came from. What I can say, it is a source that works inside of the medical team
mm,
at the hospital where DMX expired.
mm. Yeah.
Doctors they never saw before, and the paperwork allegedly confirms that he died from a reaction to either coronavirus or to the vaccine.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Wow.
Now, when you think about how corona works, it attacks your lungs, it attacks, all everything that you need. It suffocates you.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what it's pneumonia on steroids, crack, and heroin.
It is too. And then the other thing that they're not explaining fully, it's also a circulatory issue too. A
Hmm.
because it affects vascular. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are the two things. If they're not working in tandem correctly, it has the ability to snuff out life very fast.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you have a history of drug addiction and drug abuse, we all know the long-term effects of what happens to a body that has gone through addiction. It ages everything. It speeds up mortality rate. It does a lot of things. So even after you get clean, you're still dealing with the effects of the damage that the abuse left behind. So
Yes.
if your system is already compromised, why would introducing something like the coronavirus into a system that's already compromised be a good idea?
I can't speak to that because I don't know the particulars of it. But in any event, I lost one of my heroes, and I'm still sad about that. And I don't want to put anything more on this already, solemn situation. Um, but if that happened to be true about the whole physician coming in that was not a part of the medical staff team, that's something that needs to be looked at. That's not normal. Or is it legal? That's not that's not what people do.
which is why I'm glad we're having this conversation with all of your years and all of your background. That just sounds odd. Why were special doctors brought in to deal with him? Why were they not on staff? Why did no one know about it? Why was it off the book?
And I will say this. Sometimes people have their own medical staff. Hey, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Their own medical staff that they bring in on their own. And you can do,
Right.
but in order for you to work in that particular facility, it needs to be signed off on. You need authority to be in that space to do your job. You just don't walk in. A doctor just can't walk off the street into any hospital and just start working. That's not what happens.
Let me be honest about this. The only way something like that sounds possible to me is if there's government involvement.
Even still, they know you're
They're
coming in.
supposed to be.
Exactly. There's a guard, and you have to get past the guard, and the guard knows who you are coming into the facility. And when I say guard,
Right.
I don't mean a physical guard like in Sergeant at Arms, but I
No,
mean,
but you're talking about Big Brother who's making sure that everything is
yeah,
working well in the hospital.
yes, because at the end of the day, the authorities at the hospital, meaning the chief physician, the top
Right.
doctor, need to give a thumbs up and an okay that this doctor is willing or needing to be inside of this facility. You can't just
Right.
work somewhere and not check in. You can't do that.
I'm praying for his family. That's all I can say, because if his life was lost unnecessarily,
Mm-hmm.
and people are looking for a way to cover it up and then
Mm-hmm.
using sins of his past, like, I'm so sick and tired. Can I just talk about that with you for 1 second, friend? I am so sick and tired of all of these people. Every time someone black dies unnecessarily or wrongfully, they're always going back and looking for ways to try to use things from your past to dirty you up, to make you less a victim. I'm tired of this. The whole Derek Chauvin defense. Let's just start with that. Let's just well, he did fentanyl. And what if, and if he hadn't done anything else and just died at home? Why would he have just died at home, idiot? Like, it's insane that they can actually sit there and put on that defense. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm just like, dude, please,
Yeah,
please and
right.
move on.
Yeah. But they're gonna pull all the dirty tricks. They're gonna do everything that they can to win that case. They're gonna do anything that they can to make that situation just as mucky as they can possibly make it. We should have known that
All they
at the
need
bottom.
is one closeted colorist.
Yeah.
Hung jury. One closeted colorist. And then we got to do it all over again.
Yes. Yeah. But if you pay attention, look at it like this. You tell me one black man that made it to notoriety in this country that was able to leave this earth with the reputation intact of being good.
Oh, nobody. Maybe Sidney Poitier.
He's still
He
living.
might. He might. He
He's
might
still living.
make it.
There's hope.
He might be our first. But I mean, it's disgusting. And now everybody wants to talk about all these other lives that matter, all these other lives that matter. And don't get me wrong, all lives matter.
Yes.
But until all of these other races who are now catching fire and getting treated unfairly, as we have been for damn near 500 years,
Mm-hmm.
for damn near half a millennia,
Mm-hmm.
until they've all been raped with no sanction, with impunity, until they've all been sold and kicked around, until they've been heavily like, nobody has had it worse than us. I
Yes.
can't even say that the Native Americans have had it worse than us, because at least they got their own land. You know,
Yes.
at least they leave them alone. You know, they screw them over when they get the chance, but other than that, they leave them alone. They ain't give us no land and leave us alone. We supposed to get 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah. How about that?
I'm still,
When
that never happened.
when I raised the mules and I worked the land. How about that?
Like it's so funny how they look at us with all of the hate and everything that has come against us. I really don't understand why they expect us to feel sorry for everybody else. I'm more on some like, welcome to the party.
So I'm feeling sorry for everybody else beforehand. I'm the type of person I don't accept bigotry in any type of way because I know
At all.
firsthand what it feels like. So I sympathize with anybody else feeling it because I know what it feels like. So there's no way that I could feel some type of way about my treatment or my people's treatment and not have any type of feelings toward anybody else. Could your
I
situation
believe
have
in
been a little
empathy.
different?
I
Say that
believe
again.
in empathy. I believe in empathy,
Mm-hmm.
but I also believe in reality.
Yes.
And reality is if we don't stand up for our own first, how can we even think that it's appropriate for us to stand up for everything else? We got to stand up for us, bro.
Church. Church. That's church.
Like
Church.
Malcolm X said it best. We got to get us together and then we can get involved in everything else. But until we get us together, we got to get focused, man. They are killing us at every turn. I can't even begin to talk about Dante Wright,
Yeah.
who resembles my son.
Mm.
He resembles Giovanni. They both got that light, bright, and that smile. And just listening to stories about him, the only thing his mama got that I didn't get was a grandchild.
Mm.
And I envy her that. And I hope she holds on to that grandbaby so tight right now. And
Right.
I hope they just love up with him because he's still so young, but he's going to know that his dad is missing. You know what I mean? He's going
Yeah.
to feel that. And it's just 20 years old. And you've been on, he was 20. Now this Kim, I got to be me. I got to be me because I feel real North Philly in this moment right now, GK. Bitch, you've been on the force longer than this boy has been alive. You're a 26-year veteran. And you don't know the difference between a taser and a gun and a service weapon in your hand. You don't know the difference. 26-year veteran. You just took this man's life. He's 20 years old. You was on the force for 6 years before he even took breath. And it was an accident.
If I was a surgeon and I'm conducting an operation and I'm doing open heart surgery, right? And I take a utensil, not using it for cutting, a retractor, which is not used for cutting, but I take that to
Mhm.
slice into you. That's malpractice. So why isn't there a malpractice suit? Because she picked up the wrong utensil for what she was trying to do.
Oh,
She
absolutely.
messed up the operation.
And not just
She murdered him.
malpractice. And not just malpractice, but manslaughter. She would catch a manslaughter charge for that as well. She deserves first-degree manslaughter.
And
I
it
don't care if you say it was an accident or not. You deserve first-degree manslaughter because your dumb ass should know the difference.
and it's not just her because she didn't train herself. You have to blame the people that trained her.
26-year veteran on the police force.
Mm-hmm.
And you accidentally shoot a man close range with
Yeah,
something you thought was a taser. It's not.
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's not unless she was high. Now, if she was high, I believe that story.
Even the
If
even
she
the
just got finished smoking some ice or smoking some crack, and you know what I'm saying? Like if she was high on something, or if she pumped up on that Oxycontin, if you got enough of them drugs in you, it numbs you. It changes your ability to see. You know what I'm saying? That she a drug. I want to hear say she a drug addict because that's the only way that works for me. To make that kind of accident
right.
against a young man who did not have a warrant, a violent warrant at all, against a young man who did not brandish a weapon, against a young man. Like, why was all of those guns drawn?
You know why they
He
were
was in
drawn.
handcuffs. The dude was putting him in handcuffs when she decided to jump her Becky ass in. She was real caring on that. There was a man who was putting him in handcuffs. He was already taken care of. Ain't nobody need your Becky Karen ass to jump in. What you jumping in for? As little as that young man was thin.
Yes.
We didn't need you to jump in. Then when he gets agitated because he's being touched unnecessarily while he's already in the process of being detained, then everybody want to make a big hoopla about it. Now you don't know what you're reaching for. Like I said, it still only makes sense to me if she on the drugs. I need her on some drugs for
You
that
need
to
it
make
on
sense.
some drug. Yeah. I
I
get
need her to be a whole crackhead right now. I didn't know I was high. That's it. And guess what? It's still manslaughter with your dumb ass because you ain't supposed to be high on the job. Either way, it's manslaughter.
it is. Sis, I have to go continue to save lives. I love you much. You and I, we
I
need to
love
do
you
this.
too.
We need to
Oh,
do this.
yeah, when are we doing it? You supposed to let me
No,
know.
no, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me cuss you out real quick while I'm on your live. Let me get you. You need to go into your DMs and you need to get my phone number and fucking call me. Call me. Call me.
Okay.
All right?
I want to ask you a question. If I DM you my number, will it work the same way?
Yes, it will.
Perfect. Done. Say less. I got you.
All right. I love you.
Hey, stay
Yes,
safe.
yes, you too.
Those new variants I hear are a motherfucker. Stay safe.
I am. I will.
And I just want everybody here that's watching to just salute my friend, Absolute Chike, who's out there on the front line. He's one of our frontline workers. He's one of the first people that took the vaccine. He's still alive. He hasn't grown any tails or anything, which he said he would let us know if that happened.
I did say
And
that.
I appreciate you and I salute you.
Thank you so much. I'll receive that. Love you much.
Love you.
See you.
Bye, Chi.
See ya.
That's my good friend, Chike. He's amazing. Um, he's there in Philadelphia, fighting the good fight, working hard. I can't tell nobody what to do with their life. You have every right to make whatever choices you need to make for you and your family. I'm just saying, DMX did not die from a drug overdose. I seen that for myself, and y'all know how I am about saying things out my mouth unless they're absolutely true. I would not speak about it unless I had some kind of evidence or facts or guaranteed receipts. And I'm telling you, I done seen the receipts. I've been put up. I've been put up. DMX did not die. He did not die from a drug overdose. Y'all need to stop spreading that rumor. Hospitals say different. This we man, I don't know. I'm just praying for everybody that is out here battling. I'm praying for everybody that's taking the vaccine, and I'm praying that, you know, I'm just praying because this is crazy. This is crazy. Allegedly, reaction to the COVID-19 vaccine, died from vaccine complication. Allegedly, doctors come in that don't nobody know and leave as soon as he's gone. Allegedly. This is freaky, man. This is freaky. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on, and we keep losing amazing people day after day after day. We got to get us together. That's what I know. So As this year continues to move forward and I continue to move strong in my agenda, please know this ain't no game. I'm not playing no game. I'm playing for the future. You know, I've lost so much that was important to me because of this rat race that we call America. They're not going to be satisfied till we all at each other's throats constantly. I mean, that's what a lot of people actually want. They want the races to turn against each other so we can eliminate each other so they can stay in power. I love everybody, but I hate bigotry. I hate prejudice. I hate discrimination. I hate these things because these things say that, you know, some of us is better than others. And it's not true. The color of your skin doesn't make you better than me. It just doesn't. It doesn't even make you different than me. Because if we take the same knife and cut each other the exact same way, we won't bleed the same way, and we have the ability to die the same way. People are people. For the good, the bad, the ugly, it doesn't matter. But using color to drive population control agendas. Y'all not hearing how people are complaining? There's too many people of color voting. There's too many people of color reading. We got to change the voting laws. We got to change this. We got to change that because they done called on. They done got wise. We got to find a whole nother thing. Like, yeah, no. We don't have to let it go down like that. We still have a say for the time being. And while we have a say, we need to take every say that we can. We need to say everything that we can. We need to do everything that we can. The protests are good. We need more. We need more. We need more than a protest. We need more than a speech. We need more than a march. We need action. Because the truth is, with all of those little street pharmacists that we've had throughout the years, if we actually double down as communities and put those same people through school, we would have our own chemists. We would have our own doctors. We could build our own hospitals. That's what they do. Man, if we had our own hospital, we had our own doctors, our own scientists, our own team, man, we would be able to have a bigger say in what happens to our bodies in a country where, for real, they don't care if you live or die. Let's just keep it honest. The simple fact that McDonald's is one of the highest grossing restaurants of all time, and 2/3 of the things on the menu ain't even actual food. Some old processed crap. And you wonder why everybody's getting diabetes and dying. We eating bad. What do you think constant eating bad does? It beats up on your organs and your organs break down. Then you got to do what? You got to go to the doctor. Then the doctor give you a bunch of medicine to take care of that. But then it causes this and then it causes that. And now, boom, you back at the doctor. Now you sick. Next thing you know, here comes something like coronavirus. And because of all of the other stuff and all of the other this, now people is just dropping like flies. Why is it health? Like real healthy stuff approved? Why is a plant like cannabis on the schedule 1 with heroin and cocaine, and it has all of the amazing healing effects that it has, and yet alcohol is legal, and alcohol has been killing niggas for years. You know how many alcoholics are going to die from coronavirus because their system is so weakened because of all of that alcohol abuse? But alcohol legal as hell. You can get alcohol anywhere. You can get tobacco anywhere. They talking about tobacco killing everybody, but they selling it. That's cool. But the plant that can actually help you, the plant that can keep you from losing your mind, especially for people with bipolar disorder, stuff like that, CBD is amazing. It is amazing for that mood. And guess what? You don't need the drugs. You don't need the pills. You don't need the opioid. Even the CBD cream that I make, my salve, my topical cream. I don't have to take pain pills anymore. No longer beating up my kidneys. No longer beating up my organs. Like, why is all of the stuff that's good for you so hard to get or illegal? But the shit that's killing you every day, you can get that anywhere. You can just get that anywhere. Beat your body up, beat your body up, beat your body up, beat your body up. And then when a mass pandemic comes, we can get rid of a good, I don't know, million, two of you that we don't need voting know how. Like, y'all not paying attention to how things is working. It's a game. It's a setup. They don't expect us to survive. They expect us to make sure that the economy thrives just enough so they can keep getting rich, which is why all their taxes is hella low. But they trying to bankrupt you. John Q. Public every day. Like, I don't get it. And when I say John Q. Public, I ain't talking about QAnon. I'm just talking about every American citizen, regardless of your color, regardless of your religion, regardless of your financial status. If you ain't making X amount of dollars, you don't matter. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. If you're not earning X amount of dollars, you're a worker bee, you don't matter. You don't matter. I just think we need to get smart. I think we need to get a little more organized. I think we need to start paying attention to everything that they trying to make us not pay attention to. Because every time you see this amount of hate happening on the television, it's a distraction. They got you looking one way so you're not paying attention what's happening behind you. We need to start looking behind us and seeing what's going on over there when all of this smoke is over here. We need to see if there's actually fire over there. We got to stop being dumb. And we got to stop just accepting everything that these people tell us. This is a government that has lied since the very beginning. Since this is a country, nothing but lies. Strangers came here after getting lost and making a wrong turn and totally tried to eradicate the indigenous people here and still treat them like they don't exist. That's how this country started. Then they bring African slaves over here to work for free forever while they sit back and drink mint julep and talk about how fine the tobacco harvest is about to be and do no work. Like, this is the history of our country. Lincoln frees the slaves, and the rest of you know, the Jim Crow states and all of that just don't tell nobody. Which is why we have Juneteenth. Yeah, y'all free, but we just not gonna tell you. We're gonna keep letting you work. Like, come on. This is America. This is what America does. And it don't care no more about the white people than it do the black people. If you ain't got an X amount of dollar, you really don't matter. You just more fuel for the fire. Take care of yourselves. And I'm going to say it one last time. DMX did not die from a drug overdose. And I know that to be a fact. I send my condolences to his family, especially the kids. And I know there's some grandbabies. What an amazing hero y'all shared with us. And I pray for your family every day. I pray for your peace of mind. And I pray for your joy, because there is so much that Earl Simmons really did in this world and did for this world. And y'all have that to be proud of. What a legacy to leave behind. DMX did not die from a drug overdose. So y'all need to get that out your mouths, because it didn't happen. Wasn't true. He didn't die of a drug overdose. Got it? Be careful. And I'll see y'all soon.